fellow Superman fans, to another edition of the Superman Homepage Speeding Bulletin. This is all the news that happened during the week August 17th to August 23rd, 2012. Now, believe it or not, we have no movie news and no TV news. It's probably the first time in a long time that it's been so quiet. And I'm guessing it's the calm before the storm for movie fans, and we're still awaiting any news from Cartoon Network about new episodes of Young Justice. But in comic book news, Entertainment Weekly revealed that Superman and Wonder Woman will become romantically involved, starting their relationship within the pages of Justice League number 12. The comic goes on sale August 29th and culminates months of flirty foreshadowing, with writer Jeff Johns hinting that some event, possibly tragic, will impact every member of the Justice League and cause Superman and Wonder Woman to seek solace in each other and move from superpowered colleagues to power couple. DC Comics spoke to writer Scott Lobdell and editor Eddie Berganza ahead of the August 29th release of Superman Annual number 1 to give us an insight into what we can expect from Scott's first issue writing The Man of Steel. Berganza tells us, in The Man of Steel's first annual we deal with an alien threat that has targeted the last son of Krypton, and we get the truths behind invaders that have been here for some time and are about to be eradicated by their own kind. DC Comics and Comixology announced a significant upgrade to their iOS and Android app. The new update, now available for free download, answers what has been the #1 request from digital comics readers since the launch of the DC Comics app: social media sharing. Now you can tell your friends on Facebook and Twitter exactly what you're reading and encourage them to join in reading your favourite comics. Superman comic books we reviewed this week included Supergirl number 12, which was reviewed by James Lance, who gave it a 3 out of 5, saying, "The final product isn't bad, but I expected more from it." While Mark Pritchard reviewed Smallville Season 11, Chapter 13, saying, "Worst installment so far," and he rated it a lowly 1 out of 5, and created quite a bit of controversy in the comments on the website. Superman comics available this week from August 22nd include Superman number 12, which is available in a variant cover, Teen Titans number 12, which is also available in a variant cover, Amy Commie's Supergirl number 1 digital comic book, Superman Beyond number 7 digital comic book, and Smallville Season 11 Chapter 14 digital comic is available August 24th. It's not for everyone, but surgical jewelry and body piercing are popular forms of personal adornment, and we have the latest range of licensed Superman surgical jewelry for those so inclined. Like the surgical steel Superman logo externally threaded screw-fit plugs available as a pair for $16. Or grab the Superman titanium-plated surgical steel barbell for just $10.25. These and other surgical jewelry items are available from your one-stop Superman shop, the Superman Homepage online store at supermanhomepage.com/shop. In other news, Kimberly Kelly attended the Smallville Superfest in Plano, Illinois this past weekend as a reporter for the Superman Homepage. Come to the site now to read her in-depth report covering all 3 days of the festival, which included a street parade in which Superboy and Lana Lang led a procession of local businesses and farm equipment down the Smallville main street. Superman fan Mike Staley also attended the Smallville Superfest on Sunday, August 19th, and sent us in his own report along with some photos. Mike met with Jim Martins, the event director of the Smallville Superfest, who personally gave him a tour of the festival, showing him some of the props left behind from filming of Man of Steel. Sony Online Entertainment revealed this week that Superman and General Zod are now available as Legends PvP playable characters in the DC Universe Online video game. You can take to the skies and use Superman's classic powers, like heat vision and freeze breath, to stop your enemies in their track, or play as Zod and use his subjugate and Kryptonian grenade signature moves. Also visit the website now to check out an article I did on the LL initials that are so common in the Superman mythos. That's all the Superman news there was for the week August 17th to August 23rd. I'm Steve Younis from supermanhomepage.com.
Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott!
Hello, everyone. I said, hello, everyone. I just woke up a few minutes ago. My hair looked like this. And I thought, well, I should do the Great Scott like this, because it's kind of like a reality show. I mean, I am me, and, you know, that's what I look like. And, you know, I could never be Hollywood anyway. I mean, look at my face. So why make myself look all pretty when so many times on Great Scott we talk about hair and hairstyles and mullets and non-mullets? Those of you who've been watching for a while, you know what I'm referring to. For those of you who haven't, I'm sorry you're out of the loop on this one. I wanted to talk about something odd. I don't know. Maybe it's not odd. I'm not trying to offend anyone, but Mark Pritchard, a good friend from the Superman homepage who reviews the Smallville chapters in the all-digital Smallville comic book that's released, did a review on Smallville number 11, where he mentioned that he wasn't enjoying the jump forward to let's solve the problem, even though we haven't really solved the problem, and have a in-bed sex scene, which Smallville has done for 10 years on television, in order to cater to the audience that they thought they were getting. Here's what I mean by that. I had said for many, many years, as a Superman fan who wanted to enjoy Smallville for the full run, that it was catering to a very young, juvenile, not quite yet grown-up audience. And what I mean by that is men, women, but mainly women, because it was on the CW, the WB, which was a network that was in an attempt to cater to women, had a lot of shows that were about romance. Now, romance in and of itself is not a bad thing, especially in Superman, and you'll find that it's often talked about. And one of the key issues of the new reboot in the 52, the new 52 comics, was that they were doing away with the Lois and Clark marriage. Now, I've talked about this on here before, and I'm not going to go into that again because people who do watch don't need to hear the same exact thing. But what I said was that, of course, Lois and Clark weren't going to be married, because we were seeing Clark Kent just arriving in Metropolis, just becoming Superman as a young man in his early 20s. So, yeah, it was impossible for him to remain married. Now, some of the creators, some of the people involved, I guess, had made some flippant comments. I believe they were being sarcastic in an attempt to be cute, to be funny, and to cause drama where there may not have been drama. First of all, these are fictional characters. They mean absolutely nothing to anybody's lives in reality, other than we get some entertainment from them. I love Superman. I always have. I love Lois Lane. I always have. I love the idea of a comic book character, a duo of characters that actually have a meaningful, grown-up adult relationship. And that is what we had with Lois and Clark. Now, we had the time from 1938 till now to actually get to that point. I think what some of the creators were saying was that it was kind of out of nowhere. It was kind of rushed. It was kind of... the truth is, we did see the 60-year relationship almost grow through dating and the issues of him never being there, and the issues of that every relationship goes through. Then we saw an engagement, and then we saw them get married in conjunction with the TV show. What Mark had said in his review was that the rushing to a sex scene just for the idea of showing a sex scene was juvenile, and was trying to cater to an audience in possibly television that watched the Smallville show that maybe isn't the same audience now. Although I would argue that probably the people who are reading the Smallville book are people who are fans of the television show who are continuing on, which is the reason to do it. Not a lot of comic book readers who were fans of Superman in comic books who did not like or did not watch the Smallville show are picking up the Smallville book, because it's clearly a tie-in. It's clearly got the Smallville logo on it. It's clearly something that is catering to that audience. Now, some of Mark's comments were I believe, were taken out of context, and I believe were used in a way to give the guy a hard time on the Superman homepage. I don't want to continue this because I'm not attacking anybody, but I will say two things. Many of us, myself included, Mark included, I think pretty much everybody on the site, does this on a volunteer basis, does this for free, does this because we love the character and we love interacting with fans. I rarely get any comments, and I'm not looking to get into an argument comment-wise, but feel free to comment. Feel free to write me at Scotty@SupermanHomepage.com or to comment when this gets posted. Mark was doing his darndest to review the comic book, and he says in the comments that he's thought about quitting many times due to the fact that he's been attacked for his views, and he likens himself in a way to Neil Bailey. Now I connect with this too because when I was originally asked to do the Superboy reviews from the old Superboy TV show, I wrote a long review of the first episode, kind of a scathing review about how bad it was. And was attacked and was mistaken for Neil in a jokey way, was told that I was trying to write like someone I wasn't. And I had fun writing the review that way because I thought it was funny, because I entertained myself, and because obviously I felt like the Superboy TV show was below par. It's fun to watch for that reason, but it's not well written and it's not well acted. So, you know, but then I was asked to rewrite it. So many of you never even saw my original review, but there were 12 or 15 comments on that review. Then I wrote about 12 more, and no one commented, no one cared, there was no kind of interaction whatsoever. I wrote them in a more serious kind of just straightforward. Most of them were still bad reviews in terms of the critique. But they didn't have the sarcasm, they didn't have the fun that I was having with it. So it started taking me a long time to get them in, and Steve eventually asked me if I still wanted to do them, and we kind of came to an agreement that someone else was going to take over, and at this point someone else is doing them. And hopefully they're having more fun than I was, because I wasn't able to do them the way I wanted to do them. And I would hate to see Mark, who seems to enjoy doing these reviews and wants to be involved, get chased away because of people kind of attacking him. And I've noticed that there were apologies, there were understandings that were come to, but I still think that a lot of people are upset because they took something that he said out of context. And I started saying this by what he meant was the juvenile audience, female mostly, of young 13 to 18s who haven't yet grown up. Not that romance, not that women in general, not that men in general, no particular group other than kids. And kids can be 13 to 18. Kids can still be in their 20s. There are people who laugh at farts in their 50s, which isn't necessarily negative either, but that's not what you want to see on your drama TV show. Now, the Smallville show, I will contend and have always contended, or contested, or said, who cares, that it was geared toward younger people, men and women, who hadn't yet reached full maturity. And what I mean by that is they find Oliver with his shirt off to be the most exciting part of the show. They find Clark with his shirt off to be sexy. They find Lana in her underwear to be the greatest thing ever. And I'll admit that when I watched it, I also looked forward to those parts, but when it came to being the driving force of the show, it really started to bother me and other fans who wanted to see some serious growth and development. We did see some of that, and I've gone into my problems with Smallville many, many times, but it was definitely for the audience who wanted to be titillated by these characters. And that means generally younger, more juvenile men and women who haven't yet grown up. And I don't mean physically, because they could be 18, but who are still looking for cheap sexual thrills in seeing Lana in her underwear on the diving board, when it was in fact a stunt double, body double, because she wouldn't show her body anyway, Kristen Crook. So I think that is all that Mark was saying. Not that people who are older or people who are mature or women or anybody can't enjoy the good parts of the story and the good writing of the story, but that we were getting to a titillating scene just for the sake of being titillating and sexual. And I haven't read it, so I can't argue to whether that was true or not, but that was what his point was. And I just wanted to say that I kind of agree in that Smallville on TV was always kind of going for that cheap thrill, always kind of, how many times can we show people in their underwear or with their shirt off? And I think that's what it sounded to me like he was trying to say. And I don't think the outside world, what's going on with politicians and people saying things that are insane, have necessarily anything to do with what Mark was saying in his review, that for some reason, without the constraints of TV, without the constraints of what rules were put on them for the CW, Smallville and Brian Q. Miller now has the ability in comic book form to really be a well-written, well-designed narrative with clear-cut character motivations, which is something that Smallville always had trouble with, in my opinion, and somehow they still seem to be catering to the idea that we need to titillate at least a certain number of times in every episode, because that's what we're catering to. Thanks everybody for watching. Remember, always, 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 always look up in the sky.